is tactic time yet again, and we are back with the most highly anticipated tactic release on the channel of FM23. This tactic in particular was the most highly downloaded tactic of FM21. It was also the most highly downloaded tactic of FM22. We are of course talking about GYR's 𝘼𝙗𝙠𝙗. If you are new to the channel and new to taking a look at GYR's tactic, 𝘼𝙗𝙠𝙗 is his premium 4-2-3-1. This is, as I said, the most downloaded tactic in the game in the last 2 iterations on my channel. So let's dive in and take a look and see what Gareth has done for this year's game. So we're going to kick things off. Obviously, we are in here testing with 𝘼𝙗, obviously in the Serie A, but obviously we do test things with a number of different teams, different divisions, and also different levels as well to make sure things are as good and as consistent as it can be for a bit of a plug and play tactic. So we start things off with some of our other testing. We started with Atletico Madrid, obviously over in Spain in La Liga. They managed to win the La Liga title, which ultimately is very impressive, getting themselves past Barcelona and Real Madrid. They also managed to win the Copa del Rey, the Spanish Cup as well, beating Barcelona in the final of that one, and also got to the semi-finals of the Champions League and ultimately were bested by Bayern Munich. But ultimately that is a very, very good run for Atletico. I hear what you're saying, Steve. Does it work with lower level teams as well? Well, we've got you covered there. We tested it with Exeter. Shout out Scott, the guy who does my thumbnails. He is a big Exeter fan, works for the club as well. So we tested things with Exeter for Scott. They were predicted to finish a lot further down League One than they did. They managed to win Sky Bet League One and will be playing Championship football using this tactic next season. And we use things with 𝘼𝙗, which if I go over to the competitions tab, ultimately a very impressive return with 𝘼𝙗. 1 Serie A. Hopefully this is something I can replicate with my network save with 𝘼𝙗. That has kicked off now. Obviously, by the time this video comes out, we would have done episode 1 and we would have actually played each other as well. So fingers crossed I was managed to pull out the dub. I'm not using this tactic, but hopefully the results remain the same. It also managed to win the Italian Cup as well, winning that one at 2-0, beating Napoli in the final of that one. And it also went all the way in the Europa League as well, beating Manchester United 4-3. It was Luca Romero popping up with the 96th minute winner to get the job done in Budapest to see 𝘼𝙗 lift a historic treble. Now, we are going to dive in and take a look at some of the data from this tactic as well. We're using the 𝘼𝙗 example here because if we go into the competitions tab, go into Serie A and go into the season preview, 𝘼𝙗 predicted to finish 5th or 6th. That kind of does fluctuate a little bit depending on what happens in the particular save. But in this instance, 𝘼𝙗 were predicted to finish 5th, 11-1 to win the title. Obviously, they do have SMS. They do have Ciro Immobile, who was top goal scorer for them in Serie A with 37 goals. But if we dive into the data hub and have a look at the general performance of this tactic, you can see why it is so good. It's scoring 2.58 goals per game, but the expected goals per game is still over 2. It's conceding a little bit more than it probably should do from the expected goals per game. Obviously, we've seen what the match engine is like in its current iteration. So if there are any defensive tweaks, I would only imagine if you are watching this after an update has been released, this tactic is even better. It's getting off around 16.53 shots per game and is hitting the target 40% of the time. No more are your strikers just going to balloon the ball over the crossbar or wide. At least 40% of the shots in this simulation were on target, which is highly impressive, forcing the goalkeepers to make saves. Obviously, you can see the information from the analyst here. Scores a high number of goals per 90 minutes compared to the average. Completes a relatively average percentage of passes. Obviously, that pass completion ratio is just under 79%. So if we dive into this tactic, before we get into it and break things down, guys, if you do like the tactics on the channel, please do let me know by smashing that like button. It really does let me know that you guys want to see more tactics on the channel, different shapes, and if you've got any different shapes, let me know about them down in the comments. And whilst you're down there, please do go and check out GYR. His links will be in the description to his Twitter, his Twitch, and of course his Discord community, so please do go and show the main man some love as well. But let's go in and break this tactic down. It is the GYR 𝘼𝙗𝙠𝙗 tactic. It's back for FM23, and this is how things look. So if we show the roles and the responsibilities, I'm going to keep the 𝘼𝙗 players in here so you can kind of get a feel for who should fit in where. In net, we have a sweeper keeper on support. No additional instructions on here though, guys, but you can add the additional instructions by going onto the edit button and selecting which ones you would like. The additional instructions are the ones with the white cog and the little red circle next to it, so you know which ones you need to add for what positions. Moving into the back four, we have a wing back on support in the right back spot and in the left back spot. They have the exact same instructions on them, guys, to have that balance. They have the additional instructions of cross from the byline and shoot less often. Obviously, we don't want the wide defenders taking the higher goal scoring opportunity, or taking any shots, basically, really. You want them to create things a higher percentage chances. In the two centre back spots, we have two ball playing defenders. They both have the same thing of shoot less often on them. Obviously, again, it comes to trying to create a higher percentage chance. That's why we're getting so many shots on target in terms of a percentage. Moving into the midfield too, we've got a DLP here, which is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪. Obviously, he is a deep line playmaker on support duty. No additional instructions on him. The man mountain that is 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 is here as well. He has no additional instructions on him. He is just a box-to-box midfielder on support function. On the right hand side, we have an inverted winger on attack duty. Additional instruction on him of take more risks and shoot less often. Obviously, we're trying to craft the best opportunities possible, as I keep stating. On the left hand side, we have Pedro, who is an inside forward on attack, shoot less often and tackle harder on him as well. In the cam spot, Luca Romero, the youngster who looks like he's had a good season for Lazio in this particular simulation. He is a shadow striker on attack, nothing additional on Luca Romero. Then up top, the main man, Ciro Immobile. I'm hoping he can fire me to glory in our network save. He is an advanced forward on attack duty, of course, because that's the only way that they can come, with the additional instructions of take more risks and dribble more. So that is the position per position. Now we need to take care of the stuff down the left hand side. It is a custom GYRFM tactical style. If you are downloading this, you can find a link in the description. As always, we always do take care of you guys. You will find a link to FM Scout where you can go and download that, but if you just go clean slate here, it doesn't really matter. You can recreate this style by doing the following steps. So we have a mentality of positive in possession. This is how we are working things, guys. We are a fairly wide attacking width. We are slightly shorter in terms of our passing directness and a higher tempo. We've also got low crosses into that final third, and then also being more expressive when it comes down to that creative freedom. In terms of in transition, this is how things are looking. We've got counter press when the possession has been lost. We are countering when the possession's being won. We're distributing to those fullbacks, of course, and we are throwing it long out of possession. This is how things are looking, guys. We've got a high press and a standard defensive line. We're not pushing all the way up because we've seen what the match engine's like with the high ball at the moment. Much more often in terms of that trigger press, preventing that short goalkeeper distribution, and of course getting stuck in. Now, I have seen comments on these tactics previously that people have been picking up a decent number of yellow cards with this. That could be down to the getting stuck in instruction. So if that is happening to you, just take it off. It should be pretty straightforward, and hopefully you pick up a few less bookings. I do have to say, obviously, this is a team that has been playing this tactic the entire season, so of course the tactical familiarity is quite high. Please do not plug this tactic in and expect it to work immediately. It is a good tactic, but please do give it time. Ideally, if you can, allow it a full pre-season so that you can get it into your players and embed it into your squad, and hopefully you'll have a much better time if you give it that pre-season. But that is the 4-2-3-1. Swanzalona is back for FM23, and if you want to see this live in action, please do come and check out the live streams I'm doing a save with FC Versailles. They're in the third tier of French football. We will be trying to make them the best team in Paris, and I'll be using this tactic on the save live, so hopefully you can see how it works. I will leave a link to episode number 1 down in the description as well, so you can come and check that out. If you want something else from GYR, please do let us know down in the comments, and we will start work on these tactical shapes. If you want a 5-back, we've seen that one requested. We will try and get to that ASAP. But if you don't want to do a 4-2-3-1, you'd rather use, let's say, a 4-3-3, go and check out this video because Gareth's already got you covered.